Hello, everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine,
Whew.
Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I'm out of breath from running in from outside
Yes, to peeing outside.
to peeing outside. Oh, wait, that was a cheap way of the fucking. Oh, man. Next week, I'm going to have to actually come up with something good.
Yes. So,
Fucking the goat task.
how are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm still in anger mode from the fucking all the ranting I did on the sports podcast,
Yep.
which you can catch on your. How do they get?
Well, they
the
can,
sports podcast
as subscribers to the All Things Star Wars podcast, they get it automatically.
Oh, bonus.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
nice. Very nice.
But if you're listening to us strictly through a web browser, through some link that I may have posted to a Facebook group, please go into iTunes, Google Play, or whatever device you have on your phone and subscribe to the All Things Star Wars podcast. So you can give us the download numbers and you can get the Sidebar Cantina Sports podcast as well. So with that, what are we talking about this week, Dave?
We are talking about the species of Star Wars.
Yes.
And not like all of them. We basically picked our
We'd be here forever.
Yeah. So it was kind of something I saw on a hashtag from Instagram that we talked about yesterday. Yesterday? Or was that today?
No, it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
So, and we thought, wow, what a great idea. We'll talk about the species that intrigue us, and out there in the Star Wars galaxy. Not necessarily a favorite. It's not a top 3. We've shared our information. Well, Jason did. Apparently he didn't see that I added mine, but whatever.
Until 5 minutes ago. But
yeah,
it's all good.
So, well, it's good, solid discussion on my ability to not pronounce Rhodinian.
Yes,
or Rhodian. And no, so yeah, it's good for a short notice topic. I think it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we're gonna go right into our day in Star Wars, which I should have had my app ready, but I didn't.
Because you were prepping all the other stuff,
Right. And
you were doing the things, you were flying the space plane.
Yep, and I actually have 2 days in Star Wars for this week, so
it's not a novelty. You've had multiple days now for like
right,
a while.
But I'm just saying for this one for sure, it's 2 that we're going to talk about both of them. So fuck it. All right, so the first one is today's date that we're recording, November 26th, and that was in 1996, and that was StarWars.com is launched.
Huh.
So November of 96, which is about right. That's about when, personal internet usage was really starting to take off.
Yeah, we were still in dial-up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it was, my son was 5 days old.
Oh, shit.
When that, because his birthday was November 21st.
Oh, okay.
So he was 5 days old when the StarWars.com launched.
Nice.
Huh.
And fun fact, my son turns 16 in a couple of days. So
fucking, we're getting old, dude.
Indeed. So yeah, StarWars.com, which is kind of funny because back in the day, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, when they were making the prequels, a lot of their early production shit was getting released, at least like teasers, it's because instead of fucking Twitter and fucking Instagram and all that like JJ and all these guys can just like throw pictures out on, we didn't have social media like that back in 96 to fucking 2004.
Yeah, you'd either have to get the Star Wars Insider.
Yeah.
Or you'd
go to StarWars.com, which is what I did. Yep. Yeah. And I can remember like seeing the very first production shot of like episodes 2 and 3 being posted on StarWars.com. So yeah, it wasn't much when it was first launched, but it became something pretty big, and it's still like the main vehicle that they announce a lot of their shit through.
It is legitimate news.
Yes.
It is a legitimate news source.
Which we will talk about some illegitimate news that's been floating around.
that Jason's going to get really angry about. It's going to be great.
Now, another one that I think is pretty damn relevant, and that's later on this week, November 28th. And that's November 28th, 2014. And that is, any guesses?
2014.
Yes. So just over a year before The Force Awakens comes out. All right, well, don't kill yourself.
The buyout?
No,
it was the buyout was way sooner than that.
The teaser trailer for The Force Awakens debuts, drawing 100 million online views in its first week.
Oh man, that teaser trailer!
That first teaser,
fucking hell, man!
An awakening. Finn's head pops up, boom, and
that scene. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Legitimately getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like that scene where the Ray's speeder, which we didn't know
Yep.
was her at the time,
Yep.
is coming across the screen,
Mm.
and that fucking crash Star Destroyer is in the background.
Well,
You
no,
just
that was the second trailer.
that was
That was the second trailer. This was the very first teaser. This was the one that was like 10 seconds of footage. It started off the desert back there without Finn's head,
right.
and it's just you hear Snoke's voice, which you had no idea who the fuck Snoke is or anything. You just hear him say, "There's been an awakening." Have
Fuck
you
that
felt
first
it?
one. That
And that was when Finn's head popped up,
Yeah.
and then it's just a couple of quick flashes,
yeah,
like Ray
I
getting on her
do.
speeder, taking off.
I do remember that now.
The fucking the stormtrooper landing pad and the fucking door opening.
Yeah, the
and you see-
D-Day vehicles.
Yeah,
the
and,
Higgins boats for the Empire Higgins boats, basically.
mhm. And
Jason has no idea what I'm talking about.
yeah, and
You know what a Higgins boat is, right?
the D-Day boats.
Well, I
Or
led with that, so
Yeah.
I gave you the answer to it.
the one that they were all in. That when the fucking doors opened, they just all got shot up immediately.
Yeah,
yeah,
that one.
yeah. I saw Saving Private Ryan.
All right. Did you know it was called a Higgins boat?
Yes.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
Do you know how the college football playoff works?
no, because we didn't talk about it last episode. Anyway, yeah, over a year before The Force Awakens came out, we got this first teaser, and it's had a lot of people online speculating: are we going to get a teaser for the last, episode 9, not the last, Jedi.
Whatever the episode.
Yeah,
9's
whatever
gonna be.
episode 9 is, the last Skywalker. Are we going to get a teaser trailer for that in the next couple of months? Some people think maybe in December, but I'm guessing it's probably not going to be until Celebration in April. Is probably when we'll get the first episode 9 trailer.
I think it'll be too long.
You
I'll
think
be honest with you. I think it's going to be too long. Now you might get a full trailer in April, but I think you'll get something a year out.
Yeah.
If for nothing else, if they start wanting to push toys and get Star Wars relevancy up,
Yep.
then you'll do something like that. Because then, maybe they'll have a toy release for something. And it could be even solo related or something like that.
Yeah.
It may not be episode 9 specific. However, you want to get a good toy push before, December 25th.
Yeah.
You want to do something Star Wars related. It's got to be big.
That's true.
So,
and speaking of Celebration, the Celebration that followed that teaser trailer coming out the next April, that is where the Ray and the speeder and the crash Star Destroyer,
which is one of the best fucking. It's the best.
Yeah.
Legitimately, like, even though I was thinking of the wrong thing, I still was fucking goosebumped up and everything else. Oh my god.
So yeah,
so epic.
Couple of good days in Star Wars. All right, so we were talking about legitimate news.
Brady and Donald Tulsky will be at Celebration.
Yes, I know. And guys, I'm so envious. And if it wasn't for my fucking vacation, I'd be right there with you. But
yeah, man.
All right.
Ooh.
The
sidebar.
Yes.
We need to send them like some business cards or something.
Okay.
So they can throw them up in the air, like make it rain.
Nice.
All things Star Wars business cards.
Yeah, we've actually
that
still
down.
got a couple of t-shirts too. So,
dude, no, legitimately write that down. We're gonna forget. We're old. God. Are you still scribbling? What is that?
I'm writing.
That's his handwriting. Never mind. I knew that. The YouTube audience is listening to us. Chicken scratch, and then yes. While we wait.
It's done.
Sacred Jedi texts.
All right. So, and now I lost my fucking train of thought. God damn it.
Celebration.
No, fake news.
Fake news.
It's fake news. You're fake news. Oh, I gotta get a Trump thing for the soundboard. Your fake news. Anyway, so some fucking former UK diplomat douchebag last week,
I'm gonna sit back for this,
made some sort of an announcement because apparently now he's like the fucking mayor of some fucking Ireland town, some shit, and he was like talking to a bunch of people.
Some Ireland town. Can you be less condescending from where my people are from?
Fuck your people. Their fucking red hair and their fucking sexy accents that all the women love. Fuck the Irish. Go back to your fucking country. Anyway.
I've got something for that.
Well, hold on. I think somebody else has something.
I can't understand you. Go back to your country.
So anyway, this ass clown tells this group of people, he's like, George Lucas is going to start filming the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie in Northern Ireland starting at some point in 2019. I don't know what this was in reference to. It's probably was some sort of a business thing trying to bring in tourism and business. And what's the problem? My God.
I didn't know that was there.
Oh my God. Can we focus here?
It's clickbait, dude. I don't
So,
even know why
well,
you're getting all worked up
no,
about it.
That's exactly why, though. Because as soon as this came out, fucking everybody exploded. Oh my God, George Lucas is coming back. He's going to direct Obi-Wan and it's going to be great. No, he's not. First of all, this fucking dipshit probably doesn't even know that Lucas sold fucking Star Wars to Disney 8 years ago or 6 years ago or whatever. So this guy probably read fucking somewhere, oh yeah, they're making an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie and they're like scouting locations in Ireland. And he probably heard this fucking last year.
Oh,
so he's
you think it was like a tourism move?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It was those fucking islands.
The Force Awakens islands.
Yeah, the fucking not the Schuylkill. The Schuylkill is a river in Philadelphia. The like Schuylkill. Fuck. Anyway, the islands.
Luke Island.
Luke Island.
Yeah, you could have just left it at that.
I should have, but now I've lost my train of thought.
Tourism.
Yes, fucking. He got all these tourists that are going out there to fucking be on the island and see all the ruins and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how do I get some of this shit to my town? Hey, guess what? We're filming a fucking movie that everybody wants to have filmed.
Yeah.
In my town. Come on out to Ireland.
Oh, sure. And you know what? If it were true,
I don't think
I'd be doing that too.
Skellig Island.
But
not skiing, Michael.
But first of all, this fucking
I like that.
This fucking artard, like, clearly doesn't even realize that Lucas has nothing to do with fucking Star Wars anymore. But everybody's taking this as fucking gospel. All these fucking websites are running with it. All these people in all these fucking Star Wars Facebook groups are like, oh my God, Lucas is coming
why
back.
would the mayor of a small town in Ireland lie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, he's a politician.
Yeah.
You think that politics is any different anywhere else in the planet besides the U.S.? Wrong.
Yeah. But
if anything, it's worse.
And and most reasonable people online immediately knew that this guy was full of shit. But the fucking idiots out there who all just like take the bait on all these fucking clickbaits, they're out there like, oh my God, he's gonna save the franchise, he's gonna come back.
It's first thing none of those are people that listen to our show.
Yeah, thank God. And if they used to be, then they certainly are now. But just imagine this. Why would George Lucas do something like this? He doesn't need the money.
Announce it, or
but no, like let's just like say that this had some element of truth to it, right? Why would Lucas reasonably do this? He doesn't need the fucking money. Disney gave him $4 billion 6 years ago. I think he's set. Is it his love for the fucking material? No, because Disney's already fucked up like all of the shit that he made canon wise beyond the first few movies. They shit can his treatment for the sequel trilogy that he gave to them and did their own thing. So why? What motivation would he have to do this?
None.
Yeah,
none at all. And if for nothing else, he hasn't directed a movie in forever.
Yeah, and the last 3 movies he directed shitty.
Yeah,
so.
he's not known for being a good director of Star Wars movies.
He's a visionary. That's where his shit.
So the amount of work that would have to go into doing a Star Wars movie, and especially in this day and age with all the mechanics that are behind it, all the shit that he started with ILM and all these other things that make movies what they are today. I don't think he could put in the hours.
Yeah.
I don't think physically he couldn't put it the hours in at his age.
Yeah, he's not a spring chicken.
So why would he go through that? And oh, by the way, why would the Obi-Wan movie take place anywhere but starting in Tatooine? Right. It's not going to take place on an island or at a small town in fucking Ireland. It's just not. It's either going to be already at fucking for fuck's sake, God, I'm a fucking retard.
Tunisia?
No, not Pinewood Studios.
Oh yeah.
In England. Yeah, if you're gonna know something in those giant sets there,
sure.
Or you're going to the desert somewhere.
Yeah,
because that's where an Obi-Wan movie has to have some emphasis in, because that's where we left our heroes. You know what I mean? None of it checks. None of it passes any of the sanity check, either for Lucas's involvement, for where they would be filming it, the fact that they're not going to film this fucking movie. Because for all the reasons we've talked about in previous episodes, there's no reason to do an Obi-Wan movie.
Yeah.
We know pretty much where Obi-Wan came from, except for like when it fell out of the womb.
Yeah.
Like all right. So we missed him up until it was 8 years old. It's unaccounted for. Well, that'd be riveting.
Yeah.
That might be something that George Lucas gets into. Oh, do we want to see him as a fucking toddler?
Yeah.
Walking around, falling down on the sand. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, he's so weird. We're gonna send him to the Jedi. And then fucking, and the next thing you know, like Padawan.
Yeah.
Like it's just dumb. The whole thing is fucking dumb. I'll be honest with you. Like you were saying, like apparently when you opened up YouTube, there was like a YouTube video like right in the front of his shit that came up.
Yeah.
And he's like, ah, this thing has been everywhere. And he's losing his shit. I'm like, dude, I haven't seen that even a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I've like been drowning myself in fucking calculus.
Could be
Poorly, or just drowning. The Donald Salsky, Star Wars kids are always bad. Based on the previous record, I would agree. But yeah, it's just too dumb. It's too dumb to even follow. Yep. And I'm glad that I'm not invested in it like that. Honestly, everything, unless I've seen it on the Star Wars app pop up, I have like almost no emotional investment in anything that happens.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it's a good place to be. Honestly, it's a good place to be.
Yeah, and I wish I could get there, but for some reason they've honed in on me with all of this shit.
Obviously,
it's like they feel like I'm gonna be that person to like click, be like, oh,
even
this is amazing,
or they know you're gonna get angry about it and give it any credence whatsoever.
Well, that's true. I'm giving them exposure,
yeah,
so
negative press is good press,
yeah.
Right?
Fuck me, right? So, all right, let's move right into our weeks then, because there's slow week in Star Wars this week.
The Force tree is Obi-Wan's whacking hut, according to Isaac's site.
The fuck does that mean?
Like a whacking hut, like whacking.
Right.
You gonna whack him in my tool shed?
What did Obi-Wan have to do with the Force tree? Are we talking about the trees that were given to Poe Dameron's parents?
I think he's making a joke, honestly.
Right.
I think you're thinking too deeply into it.
Maybe. I'm still spun up from this fucking clickbait shit, so I'm sorry. Anyway,
he's probably still feverish too.
Getting it. Well, yeah, that's true. That's one of my bullet points here. So, I mentioned last week that I was going to see the Wreck-It Ralph sequel. Ralph Breaks the Internet, which is a fucking retarded title, but whatever. And obviously there were going to be some Star Wars references in this, and Disney, they reference like all of their shit from like the fucking princesses, which was actually a pretty funny scene.
And what sucks about that though is after you said that, because you put it out on Facebook, yeah, you mentioned something about Disney princesses. That was out in the trailer. Yeah. Like that was on television, the trailer. So if that's like one of the handful of good scenes, then why do I need to go see this movie?
Yeah, and I'll get to my full analysis in a minute, but yeah, they obviously had Star Wars references in here. Not many. It was they had stormtroopers in this, right? Because Vanellope goes to the Disney website, like some Disney fan site, which is actually based off of a real Disney fan site. Anyway, and obviously there's all the Disney shit there. There's Star Wars there, right? So she gets into some trouble, right? That somebody's like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. She runs off, and they send stormtroopers after her. So you'd think it'd be like the good stormtroopers, but no, it's the First Order stormtroopers.
Oh,
so already it's just like, come on, guys.
God damn it.
Really? Do you think your First Order stormtroopers that you made Disney are going to be more iconic and get more of a reaction than the fucking classic stormtroopers? Come on, let's be real now. So they had one scene very, very quickly where she's walking through and you can see like a TIE fighter and an X-Wing fly overhead, and you hear the of the TIE fighter, and I immediately thought of you. And otherwise, Anthony Daniels had a cameo as C-3PO. It was actually his voice. And that was really it as far as Star Wars references go.
That's a whole nother sidebar about what will C-3PO do if Anthony Daniels does not do the voice again.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, but I mean, thankfully, Anthony Daniels will fucking do anything. Like he'll play C-3PO for a song, you know. It's like
we should get him on the show.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey,
$5.
Hey, we've got a C-3PO head that needs to get a voice to it. So can you do some taping for us?
Yeah, we pay him a few dollars, and I'm sure he'll do it because he'll do anything.
How about a Diet Coke and some wings?
Yeah. So and then the guy who composed Rogue One, that you were not a big fan of,
right?
Michael Giacchino,
right?
Apparently he did a voice for one of the First Order stormtroopers in The Force Awakens, and I guess he reprised his role as the voice of a First Order stormtrooper in Wreck-It Ralph.
Ooh,
yeah, which is weird.
Is that supposed to make me endear him more?
No, it's just more like them wanting to push their version of Star Wars and just forget everything you knew before. We'll just kill off all your favorite people. We'll replace the stormtroopers with, you know, our own stuff.
Listen, people die, Jason. It's part of the nature of things.
Okay.
Even Yoda died.
When's Kathleen Kennedy gonna die? Can you tell me that?
I can't.
Damn it. All right. Anyway, moving on. As far as the movie itself goes, I give it a B minus. It wasn't bad by any stretch. it's definitely one of those movies that is not going to stand the test of time because all of the references in this movie, it's all like internet based references, right?
Mhm.
It's all about like fucking what's going on in social media right now with like fucking viral YouTube videos, like reaction videos. In it, Ralph does like the hot pepper challenge as part of like a YouTube video and a bunch of other shit like
That
that.
barely
That's
stands the test of time now.
exactly. So, and it's so much of it is it's not going to be nearly as enduring as the original Wreck-It Ralph. That was it does homage specific video games, but like Fix It Felix Jr. was a made up game, kind of based off Donkey Kong.
Right.
But I mean, it's not something that's going to like lose its impact over time because people still know these retro games. Whereas this internet shit and this internet culture, it's constantly changing, and it's just like one fad after another. And you know, I don't think that this movie is going to hold up very well like 2 years from now. You know, like they had Fortnite references in there and shit because you know Fortnite is big right now with the
Right.
kids. Where is it going to be in 2 years? Probably not.
I guess I guess playing the devil's advocate here, I guess you could say that even the Fix It Felix thing, it making a throwback or a callback reference to games, console video games, like big console games, not Xbox or anything like that. I'm talking
Right.
about like
Like the
actual
arcade games.
arcade games,
Yeah.
and throwing it back to us and that kids that used to go to arcades and go and hey, mom dropped me off at the mall. We're all meeting at the arcade
Yeah.
type scenario. I mean, maybe there's something to be said that this would ultimately at some point be like that, but they're not thinking about the future when they make these things now.
Yeah.
It's a money grab. And this is what worries me about this movie in particular, because I think we talked about it before, how I'm like real hesitant
Mhm.
in a movie like this. I think the only like that's going to be loud, isn't it? The only movie that I think really did well in their sequels, like as far as like these animated movies, has
Mhm.
been Toy Story.
Yeah.
And because regardless of, if you think about it, regardless of your age, like at some point you've played with a toy like that
Mhm.
and grew out of it, and everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
Now that being said, do I think that this latest Toy Story is going to be the greatest thing ever? No.
No.
There's some nostalgia even for the original Toy Story movie. It created its own subculture.
Right. Yeah. Which is
Just a movie of
weird to
itself.
think about.
Yeah.
You got some like Inception shit going on at this point.
Yeah. And I think it's another money grab, but I'm more likely to go see Toy Story in the theater than I am probably this new Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed Wreck-It Ralph, and I hate when they make sequels that are just subpar. I still haven't seen The Hangover 2. The Hangover was a great fucking movie. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely
It
hilarious.
was probably the best movie made in this decade. Like the funniest movie, I should say. Not best.
Yeah, one of that's debatable, but I
Best
think
comedy.
yeah. I don't know.
Anyway.
There's been some good fucking movies. I mean, anything with Will Ferrell in it. Yeah, you got to think of the Ricky Bobby movie.
Yeah, but that was in the 2000s, right?
That's right. We're in a whole new thing. God, we're old. But
anyway,
regardless,
yeah.
I don't. Based on your BB minus rating, and it sounds like your kids loved it.
Oh yeah, they loved it. Kristen loved it,
Yeah.
and I didn't dislike it, but it's just like I could probably have seen it on Blu-ray and been just as happy, and no desire to see it in the theaters a second time. And I really just seeing it a second time in general, I could really take or leave. Whereas the first Wreck-It Ralph, I'll watch over and over again.
Yeah,
love it.
It's a staple.
Yep. So anyway, moving on with me. You kind of alluded to it at the beginning of the show. Yeah, I got sick last week. The last time we recorded was Monday of last week. Starting Tuesday night, I started feeling a scratch in the back of my throat. I'm like, God damn it. And it came on like that. And I'm like, motherfucker. This was like just as I was laying down to go to bed Tuesday night. Wake up Wednesday morning, the worst fucking sore throat I probably ever had in my life.
Ugh.
And that carried on through all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, which was Thanksgiving. So I did not get a Thanksgiving at all because it was at my wife's sister's house, my wife's sister who has a newborn baby at home and two other younger kids at home, where I'm like, I'm not going to go there and infect their whole fucking family.
Yeah. And I'm sure they thank you for that.
Yeah. Because Thursday I was probably at my most contagious at that point too. Like super sore throat, fever.
I swear to God, Jason, if I get sick, I'm going to fucking beat your ass.
You knew this coming here. Like I told you days ago I was sick. So
yeah, but
you
like
were warned.
Whatever. That
Anyway,
still doesn't mean I'm not going to beat your ass.
so yeah, my whole weekend was pretty much shot. Like I barely did shit all weekend. Like I obviously I still don't even sound like I'm 100% because it's
No,
mostly like congestion now.
Right.
The fever stopped about Saturday at some point and the sore throat. So, but now it's just all congestion, fucking snot and coughing and hacking and all that crap. So
Fun stuff.
yeah, so the last week is
At
pretty
least you
much.
made it to see the Wreck-It Ralph movie, though. It didn't
Oh yeah, I felt like
completely
shit.
ruin that evening.
Yeah, I felt like shit the whole night, but yeah, I made it through. So I felt
That's
bad
good.
because we were gonna go out to dinner as a family, and I'm just like, I can't. I couldn't enjoy it. So like we ordered pizza or something. They ate, and I just laid in bed until it was time to go to the movie. But anyway, so for Black Friday, I didn't do anything because obviously I was still sick, and really, I kind of feel like the magic of Black Friday is kind of dead. Have you noticed that? It's
Yeah.
between like them splitting it between Thanksgiving Day and on the actual Friday itself, because Black Friday used to only be on a Friday.
Right.
It didn't used to be on
Start at
Thanksgiving fucking
midnight.
Day.
You know, when it started getting really crazy, it would start
Yeah.
at midnight.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, really, it's the same shit every year. And at this point, we've got fucking 3 big ass TVs in the house, big
Yeah.
HD TVs. So it's like, don't need another TV. We've all got a fucking million gaming consoles and video games and stuff. Don't need any more. I bought one video game that day that was on sale on the PlayStation Store on my PS4 actually,
Mhm.
because it's a PS4 exclusive. But that was it. You know, didn't do anything else. The only thing we bought for the kids was my son Ben watches, so I'm not going to say, but my son Ben's one of his Christmas presents. It's this guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Very nice.
but yeah, didn't do much shopping at all over the weekend other than that. And it's just because it's all the same shit. And I feel like the Black Friday has kind of died, even though they're still breaking records for
Oh
sales
yeah,
and shit.
but so much of that's is related to online, so they
Yeah.
have to. No, not PS4 for the win. Stop it. Stop it. He only did it because it was
an exclusive. It was
and he owns the
Horizon.
console,
Yeah.
and he owns the console, so that, I mean, he has to make some use of it besides using it as a goddamn coaster.
Yeah, it was that Horizon Zero Dawn, like $10 for the complete edition, PS4 exclusive, whatever. Anyway, so besides the Black Friday kind of losing its excitement, one thing that I've been determined to do this year, and I told Kristen this over a month ago, is I want to get kind of back into the Christmas spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Charlie Brown Christmas special, where it's like everything's like everything's gone commercial. It's all about fucking, you know, money and material shit and all that. And that's
it's just a musical overlay for what you're talking about.
No, it feels like that's where I've gotten in my life. Or it's just we just treat the whole Christmas season like it's just any other week and month of the year, and we don't really get into it at all. And I miss that, because you're familiar with a Christmas Story, right?
Oh,
the movie
God.
Christmas Story.
Duh.
I think about the beginning of that, when the town first sets up their Christmas decorations and everybody's excited to just go into the town square and, you know, to go into the town square and see the Christmas decorations and see the department store display and everything.
It's got the tag. You can go back. That's fine.
Can I just rip it off?
Yeah. I don't. Where did this come from anyway?
I thought you brought it over.
I think I did actually.
Okay. Exclusive again for the YouTube audience.
Well, no, because this is going to be this is going online. You can at least smile. There you go.
So, you know, and I miss that, like, because when we were kids, I'm sure it was the same for you. Like, there was a Christmas season. It wasn't just like mad dash to buy presents for the fucking assholes that you have to buy presents for and then get it over with to just so you can get your Christmas shit put away. It used to be an entire season of decorations and, you know, events going on around town, and the fucking malls would be decorated for fucking Christmas, and you have Christmas music playing and all that. And I feel like, at least in my life, I don't know if it's the same with you or everybody else, but I feel like that magic is like long gone, and it's been gone for a couple of years. And this is even having young kids in the house, where we still put up a Christmas tree and we do the presents under the tree Christmas morning and all that stuff. You know, even with that, it still feels like it's kind of lost a lot. So I really want to try to get back into the Christmas season this year. One of the things that we're doing is we're going to go to Philly and New York.
Okay.
Like this weekend, I think we're going to actually go to New York because tomorrow or Wednesday they're setting up the tree in Rockefeller Center,
Okay.
you know, doing the lighting ceremony and all that.
God.
And my kids have never been to Manhattan, to downtown New York.
Oh, really?
So, and Kristen's never been down there during the Christmas season. I've been down there once when they've had all the decorations up. So we're going to do it. We're going to go, we're going to walk around, see all the fucking Christmas decorations. And then in Philly, in the Love Park,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where they have the big love sign and all
Oh,
that,
yeah.
they do this whole big Christmas spiel where it's like the German themed Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of
it's
that.
a village. It's a Christmas village.
Yeah, and they do that whole setup, and
Mhm.
there's like the fucking carolers and decorations and a big tree and like all these like German vendors and stuff, like all selling their like Christmas trinkets and shit. And we're gonna do all that, and we're gonna try to actually get into Christmas this year because I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of missing out on this, or at least my kids are, because I remember what it was like to get excited for the whole Christmas season, not just Christmas Day and getting all your shit. The whole season was nice. And you know, I attribute part of this to like malls going away, because malls are fucking dead right now.
Yeah.
Like the American mall is almost over. There's a couple out here that are still kind of clinging to life in some of the more ritzy areas, but they're all like full of ritzy stores, and they're places that you would never actually shop at.
Mm-hmm. Or can't afford to shop at.
Exactly. So the American mall is dying, so it's kind of hard to go to like a central place where everybody's doing this, and you're kind of like a community setting up decorations and doing all this other stuff. So that's what we're going to try to do with New York and Philly. So I really want to get into Christmas this year. God damn it.
As you should. I mean, honestly, Big Love wants you to wear the hat all December podcast.
Said, put on the hat.
I'll tell you this.
It's fucking hot though. God damn.
I've been the Grinch for a long time.
Yeah.
And it started in like 94 when I was the assistant manager. Oh, that's perfect. When I was the assistant manager at a Christmas store.
You've told us that story on the
Yeah,
podcast. Yeah.
The amount of Christmas music I was inundated with, it ruined me. It legitimately ruined me.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be basically in Christmas from September until January.
Yeah.
Nonstop, 70 hours a week is what I was working.
Oof.
And it was just fucking horrific.
Mm-hmm.
And I have moments where I like really want to get into Christmas spirit. Like I want to decorate the house and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh God. And you know, we don't have the young kids, and it's like, so there's not the big like reveals for gifts or anything like that. And
Sure.
it just feels like sometimes you're just doing it, going through the motions just because it's Christmas or whatever. And I struggle with it every year. I hate going to this. I hate the crowds of the stores and everything else.
Mhm.
I'm one of those people that's so fucking happy that Amazon is as prolific as it is now.
Oh yeah, as
And
far
you
as
can-
shopping goes, yeah.
Yeah, get all these online deals because I don't want to be around those people. Like
Right.
you would, me in a Black Friday crowd, I'd be on the news. I'd be on the news. Like I would be on the news with that fucking kid at Royal Farms today.
Yeah. That's a good transition, by the way,
Yeah,
if you want to just roll right into that.
douche nozzle. But yeah, so things that make Dave angry besides all the sports teams we talked about in the sports podcast. Yeah, the fucking kid. And so it's my week. Is that what we're segueing into?
Yeah, why not?
So in the very, very recent part of my week, I was picking up food for us for tonight at the Royal Farms, which is basically, we heard us talking about Wawa. That's like, it's Wawa competition right now. It's something that started in like the Maryland area and is like creeping its way up here.
Yeah.
They have good fried chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't even have like KFCs or anything around here anymore. There's like a
Very,
Popeyes or
they're
whatever.
few and far between at this point.
So
Yeah.
they're like, to get like fried chicken is almost, it's hard. It's hard around here. So, but we have so much other things. It's not, who gives a fuck, really?
Yeah.
But so I went to Royal Farms, picked the stuff up, and I put in the, it's all touchscreen ordering, and I'm like, oh fucking, I know I hit the fucking button for the sauces. At least it had to have been 10 times because I ordered like 2, big packs of whatever. And I'm like, okay, waiting, fucking order comes up. And meanwhile, so things that make Dave angry, right? One, being so disinterested at your fucking job that you're ignoring like customers or anything else. You're getting paid to do a fucking job. Do it. Do your fucking job. I don't care how much you hate it. I don't care. Unless you're about to pull off some epic like I quit bullshit where you're gonna like jump on the counter, flip everybody off, rub your ass on the chicken, and then fucking walk out. Okay, fine. At least I got a show,
Yeah.
But if you're just being a fucking inattentive douche nozzle with you and the other 18-year-old or fucking 16-year-old that's behind the counter there and laughing it up and not paying attention to what you're putting in the fucking bags and everything else, it's like, okay, Dave's already getting annoyed. Dave's talking about it as third person. So I'm standing there, annoyance level is rising, right? Okay, whatever. Get up to pick up my food. I'm watching him put all the shit in there. I know it's my order. I can see the bags are going up, and he puts 2 sauces out there. 2. Uno, dos. 2 sauces. I'm like, I see him sitting there. So he finishes bagging up everything, and then it's like, okay, how is it hot? You have no hair. Sorry.
Everybody's
Squirrel.
got jokes.
Squirrel. Anyway, this fucking kid, he goes and calls my number up, and then he's already turning around to not be attentive to somebody else.
Right.
And I was like, hey, is this how many sauces? I thought I had some honey mustard. He's like, oh. And then fucking makes this like huge show out of getting 3 sauces out. And he's looking at the computer screen that's going to tell him what the fucking order is. He's looking at the screen. Oh, there's 3 more honey mustards with this side of this order. He takes out 3, puts it up there. We should have 10 total sauces.
Right.
Should have been 10 total.
Oh, we only got
5.
Yeah.
We only got 5. And I watched that happen. And the fucking show that he made of like putting the stuff down, like I was putting him out by telling him that, hey, you didn't put enough stuff with my order that I paid for.
Yeah.
Right. Your job is to now give me the stuff that I paid for, that you're looking at a fucking computer screen. It tells you how much it is. Like, okay, so A, either you can't fucking read, B, you're just a fucking douchebag, or C, all the above.
Right.
I'm going with C, because this fucking kid, I was just so angry. I wanted to reach across, grab the back of his fucking head, slam it off the fucking counter. It would have made me so goddamn happy, but also would have put me on the news.
Yeah.
So, combat veteran gets jail time for destroying.
I just had to look.
That was relatively loud.
Yeah.
And Jason flinched too. It's great. I was like,
yeah, it's like Jesus.
Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck that kid at Royal Farms. Just way to ruin my fucking evening. You fucking cockknuckle. You know what? Maybe it's my fault because I'm sensitive to that or whatever. But as Carl would say, do your bit. Do your fucking bit. You're being paid to fucking do a job. Do it. Don't be a whiny dick about it. If you don't like your job, make a huge show of fucking quitting and go get another job. Don't take it out on the rest of us. Fuck you. God damn it. Anyway, I don't like people. People fucking suck.
Yep.
What am I supposed to be talking about?
Yourself?
No. So speaking of Black Friday, what I did on Black Friday was way better than going to a fucking, dealing with any stores or anything else. My friend Steve got married.
Yes.
On Black Friday, and I was the wedding photographer. So I think you've heard me talk about it before. Like, taking pictures is like one of those hobbies for me that I just really enjoy. It's very therapeutic. I do mostly scenic stuff. I'm not a huge, I'm not really good at capturing the human presence on film. I don't know. But that being said, I think I did a decent job with the wedding pics and everything. And so the thank you gift, which I didn't bring, if I had thought about it, I would have brought it with me.
Yeah.
I'll bring it next time. But so they got me a thank you gift for doing the pictures.
Right.
So it's in the Amazon like gift wrapping or whatever. And I'm like, man, I didn't have to do anything. And so Steve leads into it. It's like, I wanted to get you something that you probably wouldn't be allowed to buy on your own. And I forget what else he said after that. And I'm like, ooh, I'm intrigued. And so I opened one thing and I could see the Star Wars thing across the top. I'm like, ooh, because Steve is not a Star Wars guy. He's not like a Star Wars movie watcher. It's just never something that entered into his childhood. You really could take it or leave it. So for him to actually get a Star Wars thing is like, wow, dude. So it was the Star Wars Millennium Falcon drone, the Airhogs drone
Oh,
with the 4
really?
fans. Dude, it is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I would say it's not as cool as the TIE Advanced.
But you broke that one, right?
No, I did break one of the blades.
Yeah.
And I had to find a new blades. The TIE Advanced is like the whole presentation was so much more.
Yeah.
This Millennium Falcon is way easier to fly.
Yeah.
Like it's so much more stable. Like I can't crash it nearly as much.
Nice.
And the whole thing's made out of foam. So when it does crash, it doesn't break. It's fucking great. And I only got to fly. I took a break during one of the games yesterday just to get away from calculus for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And I charged the whole thing up and I floated around my family room.
Nice.
So I got to get it outside, Steve. But yeah, thank you so much. It's just a great gift. They got me a little case for it. Oh, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring it in here. We'll fly it around, annoy you with it.
Oh, that'd be great. Because yeah, this guy is a guy who works in the wing that Dave used to work in. I still work in, and I have to deal with him in with like professional stuff. And he happened and he knows that Dave and I do the podcast, and he mentioned to me today because he and I had to work together on something. He's like, "Hey, did Dave tell you about the thank you gift?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Make sure he tells you about it."
Yeah,
so
that's what it was. And what the funny thing is that Kathy saw it, and we all know about the edict, and it was just one of those things. It's a gift, so you have to take it.
Yeah.
And we had saw it at a store.
Like
it was one of those things. Kathy actually pointed it out. It was we were walking around the outlets in one of the toy stores, and they had it. I'm like, it's just too much money. So very cool, Steve. And and for something, I would have taken those pictures. Then definitely didn't have to get me anything. It was really cool that they did.
Yeah.
But along those same lines, speaking of stuff, so I think we've talked about some of this stuff already on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I finally actually went and so the story behind this guy, it's basically a wood like laminate of the wood, air quote wood, a wood laminate of one of the original Star Wars posters, one with Luke pointing a blaster and Leia firing a blaster. Everyone's familiar with these original posters, I'm sure, or at least our diehards are. And my cousins got me this for my birthday, and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
And we have a big Star Wars poster hanging on the wall right now. It is a different version of this poster, but both of them for the Star Wars. And it's fucking great.
Yep.
So very cool.
So we'll have to find room.
Yep. Yeah.
It's all part of the redesign.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll get there.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple other things. I'm pretty sure I showed some of this stuff on the podcast when you were on remote.
Oh yeah.
But this is
the stuff your dad got you,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
So this is this like hand like pencil drawing of see if you can see it. Yeah, bring it a little closer. Real cool, like basically the scene with
Luke and Yoda.
Yoda, and it's got George and Frank Oz in the picture.
Yeah, that's Frank Oz down there.
Yep.
George Lucas, and then probably like the puppet designer or something.
Yeah, they're working on something, like ahead of something.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool, just like rendering.
Yeah, and it's a hand drawing. Like it's somebody just like drew it.
Pencil drawing. Whoever this happens to be for Michael, and it looks like it's a what do they call that? A commission.
Yeah,
like a commission drawing.
Scratch that out for David.
Yeah, we'll just change the matting.
Yeah,
that'll be cool. This one.
Yeah, we saw that one. That was the anime hybrid.
Right.
Which it's in reference to something Naruto, whatever that is.
Yeah, we're not up to date on our anime stuff, but cool. You got Darth Maul in there. You've got representations of Luke and all our cast of characters in there. So just a neat little kind of Naruto episode. ... And again, this is it's signed by somebody down at the bottom. There.
Probably the person that did the art,
I would guess. Oh, look, it's from Deck the Walls, specialist in art, custom framing, and design.
I think that might just be the frame.
Oh, then fuck those people.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then I don't know that I actually showed these, but I talked about them before. These are I had picked these up off
Oh, the
the web.
patents.
Yeah, these are like
See if you can see that in the corner up there.
yeah, they're basically copies of the original patent drawings of the TIE fighter. You know, obviously this is the TIE fighter. It looks amazingly similar to like the Mattel version that came out originally, the white TIE fighter.
Yep.
And then you have a TIE bomber. Again, the same patent design. I actually like the TIE. These are both fucking cool.
Oh,
The
yeah.
TIE bomber, the detail on the TIE bomber one, I think is really really cool. That looking from the front. And we talked about it when we talked about the games last week, and I've talked about TIE fighters and TIE bombers. I've probably spent a solid 2-3 hours combined on the podcast talking about TIE fighters and shit. But yeah, the date on this for the U.S. patent is March 8th, 1983.
Damn.
So, but obviously this is a copy of it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have cost me. I think I got them at Touch of Modern. I think it's like tomo.com or something like that. Okay. And they were having a sale on Star Wars like art stuff. So
nice.
So that was it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's all the ones I brought.
All right.
There was something else.
Well, you talked about your thank you gift, all that stuff.
I did.
You ranted about the idiot at Royal Farms.
Not nearly enough, but yes, I at least talked about it.
All right. So we ready to move on to our main topic then?
Let me open up the notes and make sure. Rant about this. New toy. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So like we mentioned at the beginning, this is sort of a free form discussion. This manifested from that poll that Dave said he saw on Instagram. And at first we were talking about, let's do favorite races. And like, no, let's just talk about races that intrigue us. Oh, well, let's not even do it as a list. We'll just do it as kind of like a free conversation. And we'll each just pick 3 races to kind of have a brief discussion about.
Every time you say races, I think you're saying racist.
Funny you mentioned that, because we say races and species kind of interchangeably, but there is a difference. And that's something that I kind of wanted to bring up, because the human race is technically a species. It's not a race, because we think of races as people from different regions of the world that have different physical features, be it skin color or facial shape or whatever.
Right.
So within the human species, we have different races, even though we're not, referred to as the human race. And that happens in Star Wars. And it's not really talked about that much, but like your goddamn Rhodanians, you fucking Rhodanians, they have different skin tones. Like I've seen some represented as like the straight up green, like Greedo, or I've seen them like almost more blue, because I think in fucking Clone Wars, there were some Rhodians that were like almost blue skinned and like turquoise. And so they
think about it right now in Resistance, there's Rhodanians that are like that one.
The retard. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The one that that guy. Yeah, he's more of like a light green, not like a Greedo color, but definitely more pastel-y.
Yeah, and with one of the species that you've chosen for yours, they definitely have different skin tones that that mark the differences in them, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But let's hop right into it. Do you want to start with one of yours, or do you want me to hop into one of mine?
Yeah, you can go ahead and start.
All right, so the first one that I threw in there was the Kaminoans. I've always found them to be a very fascinating race. First of all, just the aesthetics of where they live. First of all, they live on a water planet, but they live in these Apple stores with these like bright white fucking walls, like these, like it's so clean, and it's
Apple stores.
Yeah, no, it makes me think
it's like an Apple store built inside of an IKEA.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, with the fucking weird swivel chairs and all that. But no, the Kaminoans I've always found is very fascinating. But the thing about them, and this is kind of a theme in some of mine, is that we just don't have a lot of information about them.
That's true.
We saw them in episode 2. Your boy, Jester Dexter, whatever the fuck his name is, from
my boy.
Yeah, because remember he was on your character list. I'm sorry, that was least favorite characters. Never
mind. Least favorite.
Yeah, like he knew about him. He's like, oh, they're cloners.
Or how I think your pockets are.
Yeah, but
I'm part pirate.
Yes, but like he knew about him. But for the most part, they were kind of a mystery on the outskirts of the galaxy. the species themselves, I think, look
Well,
very
they made the whole fucking planet disappear out of the Jedi archives. You know, it's
right.
like
Which, and in doing my research, they mentioned that on Wikipedia about how Lucas intentionally didn't solve that mystery because really he just ran out of time and he didn't want that to be the focus of episode 3 because he was supposed to go back and talk about the death of Sifo Dyas and the fucking Camino missing from the Jedi archives and all that.
that's a great like segue into something completely like with the Cipher Dyas and like how all that shit developed.
Yeah.
It's an untapped resource of potential Star Wars.
Yeah, it was that fruit that he just kind of left hanging there
Mhm.
to never really be picked. But yeah, I love the design of their species, like the long necks, but their faces are based on a couple of things. First, in the production design, I guess they based them off of the aliens from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That's immediately when I thought of when I saw
Right.
them.
But those aliens are based off of these fucking alien reports throughout, like, American history of the aliens with the big gray heads and the black eyes and all that.
Right.
That's the first thing that I thought of when I saw the Kaminoans in episode 2.
Is the classic picture of an alien.
Yeah, except their heads were small on the fucking long necks, but otherwise it looked like they based them straight off of that. And then like with the Close Encounters reference, the same kind of thing. And you knew they drew inspiration from that because as a teenager, I always found like the whole alien abduction stories fascinating. The movie Fire in the Sky and fucking that alien autopsy video. I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries all the time. I was really into like alien abduction stories, even though I didn't really believe they were true. But that's one of the reasons why I was kind of drawn to the Kaminoans. But the really unique thing about them is the fact that we just don't know anything about them. We don't, especially like what they did before they made the clone army, because they were already known as cloners before this. So obviously they've been doing this before.
Yeah.
So who the fuck are they making clones for before this? How long had they been doing it? Where are these other clone armies that they fucking made?
Yeah, have they been making clone armies all the way into the Old Republic?
Yeah.
For somebody.
Yeah, and then there's no talk of them after episode 2. First of all, we didn't see them in episode 3 at all. There was 0 Kaminoans in episode 3, and
Right.
the only references to them we've seen outside of episode 2 was in the Clone Wars series. There was one episode where I think they had like a space station where they were keeping like sick fucking clone troopers, and there were some Kaminoans there like trying to tend to them and all that. And I think there was an attack on Camino by the separatists at one point to try to bring down the facilities.
Well, there's allusions to that in the Battlefront 2 game.
True, yeah.
So because you're actually like seeing the attack like in one of the maps as you're playing through it, you see the attack.
I think that was one of the demos actually too. Remember when we played the beta, Battlefront 2 beta? I think that was one of the maps was defending Camino. But anyway, beyond that, the only reference to them is in one of the Darth Vader comic books. And I wrote this down verbatim. This is a quote from a clone trooper. So this was right after Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader, but after, the events of episode 3. In one of these Darth Vader comics, The Dark Lord of the Sith, the clone says, "I heard they shut down the facilities on Camino. They'll train up the last batch of clones, and that's it." So all we know is that they shut down the facilities on Camino. So we don't know if the Empire rolled up and just fucking wiped them out like they did with Geonosis.
Apparently somebody knows.
Who knows?
Because Tom knows.
Okay, are we talking canon though? Because we're talking strictly canon.
He says, you want to know about Sifo Dyas and who hid Camino? Watch Clone Wars.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I know, right? It's like you and your Clone Wars.
I know.
Like, whatever.
We'll get there. God damn it!
Yeah. We can't reference it because we haven't seen it.
Right.
We're certainly not going to pull anything out of our ass.
Yep. But yes.
But probably.
And that was the big thing. Like, are the Kaminoans still in existence? Could they potentially produce a clone army for somebody else? Like maybe the Resistance to help fight off the First Order.
Well, I know that there is referencing to the Kaminoans in some of the more recent canon, talking about it's banging around in my head, and as soon as you started talking about it, yes, we know Clone Wars is canon. Stop it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch cartoons. Sorry, the chat.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
Recent canon that the Kaminoans.
I'm trying to think of what it was. There was some referencing of. I might have been in the Might have been in the Aftermath books.
Hmm.
I can't remember, but they've been mentioned in canon for it with either like with a historical reference or something. But
Yeah.
it's definitely, um, yeah, it's definitely an interesting. When I saw that in your in your topic list, I was like, wow, that's I wouldn't have thought of that as it's very from an aesthetic point and from a plot point. As far as the clones go and the
Hmm.
Clone Wars and all these other things, it's definitely a crucial element to what goes on in Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and it is funny that you don't really see them. They're not super prolific in other things.
Yeah.
Clone Wars notwithstanding.
Right.
So,
And yeah, and again, like they were already known as cloners before all that kicked off. So what did they do before? And did they survive? And what did they do after? Maybe we'll find out. Maybe they'll never touch on them again. Who the fuck
I
knows?
guess we'll
But
have to watch the Clone Wars
yeah,
to
but
find out.
that's one of those things I'd love to hit on. And we know there's a Clone Wars season 7 coming, so maybe they'll
You'd like
address
to hit
their
on a Caminoan? You like their sexy long necks?
you can fit a lot down those necks. I'm just saying.
She could take a whole hoagie.
So
Only my mom. I've only ever seen my mom take a hoagie like that. A sandwich. I'm sorry, a sandwich.
yeah. All right.
Clone Wars reference.
Yes,
Or
Clone
no,
Wars, yeah.
or otherwise known as Coneheads reference.
Yeah.
All right. So,
What do you got?
oh shit, what's happening? Do I start with that one? Yeah, fuck it.
You start with whatever you want.
So, as Bronco Fett actually said, he says, I'm sure twi'leks are on there somewhere. And yes, they are. Of
Yeah.
course they are, because they're the hottest species in Star Wars. How can we not mention the twi'leks?
Yeah.
I'm going to. I went on StarWars.com and pulled stuff right off of the database of StarWars.com, as opposed to like trying to cipher, get through the Wikipedia stuff and not knowing what's canon, what's not.
Sure.
So, right off of StarWars.com, it talks about the twi'leks being tall, thin humanoids with skin pigment that spans a rainbow of colors.
Yeah. So there you go. The different races within a species.
If you broke it down that way, but then so I don't want to. God, I'm going to do it anyway. Fuck it. So it's one of those things where the actual terminology of race is, I think, one of those things that like generates racism. You can't have racism without race, right? So
it's an interesting theory.
So if you have twi'leks and say that if a green twi'lek was considered to be a different race than a blue twi'lek, which it doesn't look that way. They're all pretty much homogenized. It just is more of it's not necessarily an environmental thing because they're all like together. It just happens to be the way they pop out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
kind of like cats, like
sure,
their fur color is just always different.
Whatever it is, know. So and it's just very random. Unless they're very similar genetically. But sure. I think that they probably, twi'leks aren't going to demonstrate that unless there's obviously we've seen it in Rebels and it's been alluded to in Clone Wars that the twi'leks have, political factions and things like that. But that's nature of things. That's
what happens when you have a civilization.
It's a tribal mentality. So, and one tribe's not necessarily going to agree with the other. But that whole concept of race in these things is, you really have more of what I guess it would be called, like if you look at the Empire and say that like, okay, the Empire is primarily made up of white males, white humans, where there's not really aliens or in any of the really positions of power until you talk about Thrawn.
Yeah.
Then they have more of a speciesism because it has nothing to do with race, it has everything to do with like an alien, someone who's not a human. So you can go way down a rabbit hole with a conversation like that, but fuck no, we're not doing a show on a live action Ewok movies. God. Probably are. Jason likes that shit. But anyway, so
yes, we will.
When we talk about the twi'leks, and they're different colors, they're distinctive features, a pair of sheeply prehensile tentacles that grow from the base of their skulls. Here's the best part. Few things are as graceful as a female twi'lek in motion. Like, yes, you're absolutely right.
Yep.
This beautiful image has forever doomed generations of young twi'leks into servitude. And
this is from
StarWars.com.
Wow.
Beautiful image has forever doomed generations of young twi'leks into servitude. as the wealthy and corrupt have taken to brandishing twi'leks as badges of prestige.
Wow.
In the waning years of the Republic, the Twi'lek homeworld of Ryloth was represented in the Galactic Senate by a corpulent, blue-skinned politician, Orn Frita, who we hear referenced in Rebels.
Yep.
And even a politician of high office was not above flaunting a pair of lovely Twi'lek aids as a sign of influence and wealth.
Mhm.
So my addition to this, and we talked about the community lines, and maybe we can add this, is see you, Don Saltsky. He's got to check off.
All right.
May the force be with you. I put in here, like, for each of the species that I'm going to talk about, I'm like the most recognizable one, right?
Mhm.
So the most recognizable Twi'lek to me is Hera. As far
That
as
has like speaking roles and
not just that, but like with her role, what she's doing in the rebellion, then by far she's probably has the most influence on what's happened in Star Wars.
yeah.
From the role that she plays, and she's a Twi'lek, and he's dying here, folks.
Sorry.
Listen to a grown man snot. Perfect for the podcast.
It is.
I'm so gonna get sick. This is awful.
So anyway, Hera.
Ula is not the most famous.
No,
Twi'lek.
she was for years.
Yeah, well,
because she was the only one that we knew.
Wicked shy boob.
But you can't discount what's her name from the prequels and eventually her even better representation in fucking Clone Wars. What the fuck was her name? What's the Jedi Twi'lek chick with the big rack in fucking Clone Wars? God damn it. I always forget her name. She was more prominent to me than even Hera.
I don't think so.
Wow.
Not as far as influencing what's going on in the movies. I mean, she was just another Jedi that got killed in Order 66.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you remember her death scene in fucking episode 3? It was like the lamest death scene. Yes, it's like so dramatic, right? They shoot like near her and she's just like, yeah, it's like, come on.
It was like watching something from the 1920s where you got, I do declare.
Yeah.
And she falls down on a fucking couch.
That was like the most retarded fucking death scene I have ever seen. So it's like,
Ayla Secura.
Thank you.
Isaac Sipe for the win. But yeah, I still, even given all that, I think that from what we see in what's out for the canon right now, I mean, because there's others too that are represented, like in the Solo book.
Lando's girlfriend.
Yeah, Lando's girlfriend. That who, God, I just imagine is the hottest Twi'lek ever.
Yeah,
honestly, and there has to be some physical representation of her somewhere.
Yeah,
because the way that she's described in the book is just like, whoa, holy shit.
Well, there is a whole Lando series of comics out there, so maybe.
I don't know if she's in there.
Oh, I don't know.
I have the Lando comics.
Anyway, moving on. Anything else on the Twi'leks?
No, that's all I got, just for the sake of time. And to not like bore with the details, but obviously you gotta have the sexiest species in the galaxy represented in what we're, as we have a conversation about the species.
And they are a playable race in the Old Republic, so you can play them on both light and dark side. They can be Jedi, Sith, anything.
I prefer them to be servants.
Well, yeah, you can have that too. Did you
what's her name? Vet, right?
Yeah, Vet. When you play a Sith warrior.
I damn near put Vet on the list.
Nice. Have you seen the Sith Twi'lek chick from the Old Republic? She's got like the Darth Maul looking tattoos. She's fucking red and black face, but she's a Twi'lek. And she's fucking badass.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with a female Twi'lek.
Yeah.
The males, blah.
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, they're worthless.
All right, what do you got next?
All right, for next, so the race that started this whole thing, the Chiss. Now, the Chiss are a unique addition to this because, again, they're a very mysterious race. But in Legends material, we learned a lot more about them because Timothy Zahn wrote a whole handful of books. There was, I guess, one point in Legends where the Chiss came in contact with Luke Skywalker, and he even said the Chiss that he talked to was like, "Hey, don't judge us based on Thrawn. There's others of us that aren't like the way he was." But now that the clock's kind of been reset, we only know what we've been told in these Thrawn books, and that's really it. And it's I love the mystery surrounding the Chiss and the Chiss ascendancy, and especially the character of Thrawn. Thrawn is like one of the best characters in all of Star Wars now or in Legends.
Right.
Like even in current canon, Thrawn is fucking amazing.
It's so intriguing.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's just because of what it's that a character that's taken directly from Legends material and brought into this canon
Yeah.
that gives him even more like credence.
Yeah, because that's one of those things we were talking about when I was talking about the First Order troopers
Mhm.
in Wreck-It Ralph, whereas that Disney wanted to put their own thing out there. But for this is something that was not their own creation,
Right.
but they're bringing it into their world. It's that important.
They're
It's that
bringing it
iconic.
back.
Yeah. And you know, if you read on like some of the Legends material stuff from Wikipedia, apparently the Chiss were descendants of humans from like, you know, thousands and thousands of years before it. Like the
Interesting.
yeah, the Chiss homeworld used to be like a human colony, but I guess they had like an ice age after they settled it, and the humans had to fucking bunker down, and you know, thousands of years of living in fucking ice before the world thawed again, turned their skin blue and their eyes red, and allegedly.
I don't know if I like. I don't know if
Well,
I like that description.
It's Legends anyway, so
Yeah.
it's this. None of this is translated into current canon.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is the Republic Commando canon?
No, technically not.
Any of the Chiss stuff that's in Republic Commando books,
Yeah, the
is
game-
not canon.
Yeah, the game or the
Bronco
books.
Fett,
None
it's
of it.
not canon.
He's feeling it already. He's
Fucker.
sick. No, I would hate for anybody to have what I had over the last week. So
I already have such a good immune system too.
yeah, so we don't know much about the Chiss right now in current canon, except the fact that they live out in the unknown regions. They sent Thrawn to kind of scope out the Empire and kind of make this sort of drug deal with Palpatine. Like, hey, and that's the most intriguing part, is the fact that they're out there and they're like, hey, Empire, there's some really fucked up shit deeper into the unknown regions. We need to kind of work together to make sure when this shit hits the fan, basically, that we're all kind of.
Why do I remember it as not necessarily the Chiss sending him out, but them basically kicking him off the planet?
Well, that was part of the ruse. The ruse
That's
was
right,
that
it
he
was the
was in
ruse.
exile.
That's right.
You know, and then like at the end of
And
the
they-
first
they
Thrawn
ex-
book,
they explain that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Palpatine calls him out and he's like,
Yeah, my
you
bad.
were never fucking exiled, were you? And he's like, no,
No,
this was all part of our plan.
it's all fact finding mission.
Yep. So I mean, I find that whole thing interesting. And we need more integration of them into the current canon. And one of the things that they kind of alluded to in these deeper threats, and I think we talked about it when we reviewed the first Thrawn book, was, is it the Vong? Are they seeing the Yuuzhan Vong out there somewhere, and
Yeah.
they know that they're fucking coming? So like, are we gonna see like the third Thrawn book being like the fucking Empire and the fucking Chiss Ascendancy teaming up to fight off the Vong before they actually, you know, come into our galaxy, or what? Because they left it open for so much more story to tell.
I don't feel like that would fit like with the Empire. Like
Yeah.
you might have to push the timeline down further for that to actually fit within a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Not even, we're talking about beyond the First Order, I would think.
Yeah.
You know, I think that to try and squeeze it in that timeline just almost doesn't make any sense because we haven't gotten any
Yeah.
kind of wind of it.
Yeah,
But that is intriguing. I wouldn't mind seeing that, you know, because the stuff against the Vong, where that's creepy. I'd hate to see that represented on a screen anywhere. You know, with the fucking
oh yeah,
yeah.
the faces and the just like all
Yeah,
the organic shit.
all the organic fucking shells and the shit that they're using for shields and
yeah, yeah. Those books were so descriptive, by the way.
They were.
Why didn't we have the fucking Vong in either of these?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, there's so we went with 3.
Yeah.
For the sake of time, so we could actually have
Yeah.
a conversation about it.
Yeah, considering there were like 50 books written about them.
Yeah, no
so
shit.
you know,
that pile doesn't even. I feel like it doesn't even touch the amount of books there
Yeah.
are about the Vong.
So yeah, the Chiss. I mean, a very, again, aesthetically good looking species, humanoid, but the blue skin, the red eyes, and I guess the eyes change color based on like their oxygen content. So if they're in like lower oxygen, their eyes get a little bit dimmer, and they get darker red the more oxygen in the environment, according to Wikipedia. Now, this could all have been pulled from Legend stuff again. I don't know. But the Chiss are also a playable race in the Old Republic, and they actually visit the Chiss homeworld in the Old Republic. But since that's not canon, I didn't really want to bring that up much. But most of the characters that I play in the Old Republic are Chiss. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a great character, and I love what it represents for us as Star Wars fans. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's that kind of that reach back into some things that we really enjoyed in Legends and bringing it into the canon. It makes us all, and we've talked about it multiple times, but it gives you that hope that this could happen, in the future.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like Thrawn is being treated better in the new canon than he was in Legends.
Yeah,
honestly,
I would agree with that.
Yep. So you talk. I'm going to just do one thing really quick. Don't worry about me. You're not talking.
I'm not talking. What are you doing?
I had to turn off that heater. It's getting really fucking hot in here.
Oh.
So you're up.
There's nothing to see here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save that one for last, and I'm going to talk about what I was calling the Zabrak.
Okay.
Which what does that species indicate to you?
Well, I mean, obviously, most people will think Darth Maul,
right?
As soon as they hear Zabrak,
right? So when I looked this up in StarWars.com or on StarWars.com, they actually refer to him as the Darthomirian, Zabrak males and females.
Yes.
So they're referring to, this is their home planet
of Dathomir, I thought is
right. It's their home planet. Yeah. So it's like Dathomirian Zabraks.
Right.
So it's not like Zabrak as an individual species.
Okay.
Which the way they represented it made me think that, like, okay, is there Zabraks on other planets? Is this their home world? Like, how does that work? So it basically says inhabitants of the planet Dathomir. The Dathomirian Zabrak males, known as Night Brothers, are easily identifiable by their intimidating crown of horns around their head, not thorns, horns. And
I can already tell you, I'm not looking at the chat at all, but I guarantee Bronco Fett is probably going ape shit about the Clone Wars, because I know we get all kinds of Clone Wars shit about the Zabraks, so we know.
Not yet. He hasn't yet.
Okay, I'm sure it's coming.
There was a discussion about the Vong.
Okay.
Easy intimidated, blah 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 blah, as well as distinct markings on their skins. The females, known as Night Sisters, who we did see in Rebels. We saw the Night Sisters, or some of the Night Sisters in Rebels,
and we saw them in Clone Wars too, apparently.
And have pale skin and are known to be powerful witches. And for me, the most recognizable Zabrak, as we talked about, was Darth Maul.
Yeah.
The reason I think it comes down to the same reasons that I chose, any of these, is their influence on what we look at Star Wars today. Like Darth Maul, while in Episode 1 seemed to be a throwaway character, it led you down a path, and like, okay, it was the first indication that we had that there was multiple Sith.
Yeah.
With Padawans, and where we were with Darth Sidious, and so knowing Maul was out there brought with it there could be more Sith. There could be Dark Jedi out there, or however you want to describe it. And then, unfortunately, let's face it, the best part of Episode 1 involved Maul.
Yeah.
In that fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best part of the whole movie.
And that's probably why he eventually survived in canon, and that's why the Zabraks are as kind of popular as they are now, because of him and his popularity in Episode 1.
And we can't discount Ray Park's portrayal of it, and his continued portrayal of it. Every time he shows up to a con, he's in there, spinning his fucking lightsabers around,
or in Star Wars story movies, either way.
And I think I look at it, and obviously we haven't seen this whole storyline play out in Clone Wars yet, because we just haven't gotten to it. But I think you really the impact even in Rebels, and then look at the Solo movie, and the impact he has by being a character that shows up in those movies. It just goes to show, like, as Darth Maul in particular, but this representing that particular species, it just shows that it kind of transcends different generational things, and shows what an important species this is, and how interesting it does make it, like with the stuff with the Night Sisters and everything else. It adds like a more deeper, darker element to it. And I just think it's one of those characters.
And we'd be remiss too if we didn't mention the bounty hunter, the female bounty hunter from the Aftermath books, the fucking horny, literally and figuratively, horny Zabrak from our crew of misfits.
That's right.
Who wanted to bone the gay guy, but he wasn't interested, so she ended up fucking that other dude.
Pissed her right off.
So and then again, going back to the Old Republic, Zabrak are a playable race. The difference is, if you play them on the light side, like if you play the Zabrak on a Republic side, they're the brown skin Zabrak, like the
I've seen
brown or the
that. Yeah,
tan
yeah, yeah.
skin.
I've
But
seen those guys running around.
yeah, and then if you play them on the Sith side, then they're the red and black skin
Right.
Zabrak. So what's the difference between the brown and the red skin? I don't know.
Light side, dark side influence, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it describes them. I was looking at this on Wikipedia, and it described the Zabraks as actually being tattooed.
Yes.
So
yeah, the black parts are tattoos.
right. So if you think about it, what is the influence of that? Like, is the tattooing, like, is it descriptive of where they fall on this light side, dark side thing?
Or is it like a family thing? Or
Yeah,
who knows?
there
So,
could go anywhere with that.
yeah. So yeah, Zabrak, great race. Good choice. So my last one is
Species.
or species. Yes. See, we get them interchanged.
C-3PO.
My last one is you might find interesting, and that's the Tusken Raiders.
I did find that interesting when I saw it.
Yeah, because this is something that I've always thought about. Watching the original Star Wars movie, you see the Tusken Raiders. There's not much to them. They seem very primitive in their vocals and the way that they act towards people.
I just had this like
Family
Guy
Guy.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. Yeah. And one thing that over the years that I've been constantly thinking about is their appearance. You know, because they're in these fucking mummy wraps and they've got these like fucking goggle things on and the fucking rebreather and whatnot. And it's like that's not part of their actual body, right? That's got to be, you know, something that they wear and there's something on underneath. And during my research, I actually discovered that that is indeed true. So this is where it gets funny. So I put in here,
God.
in quotes, Tusken Raiders, quote, sand people. And then I'm thinking, okay, I'll make a funny joke. That's racist, you know, calling them sand people. Hey, that's racist, you know, because, you know, it does kind of sound a little bit on the shaky side when you call that fucking sand person over there.
Well,
anyway,
that could too easily be described, you know, using other words.
So it only gets more uncomfortable the more fucking research that I did. So get this.
Jason's uncomfortable.
No, well, yeah, no, it's weird because they're native to Tatooine, first of all. So Tatooine is their home world.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it may not be in fact, I know it's not the Hutt's home world. It's not the fucking humans' home world. It's the Tusken Raiders' home world. And they wear all those fucking wraps and they wear those fucking goggles and everything to maintain moisture because they kind of worship water. Because
Dune.
Yeah, as part of their culture, they feel like water was created for them and that they're entitled to any water that they can find. And it's precious to them.
Right.
So that's why you see them running raids on like the moisture farms and all that, because they feel like that's their water. It's water that they were the manifest destiny for water. Apparently,
I feel the discomfort.
Well, no, it gets better because then we go back to the wraps, right? Because they could be fucking full blown humans under there for all we know, but they're in the fucking mummy wraps, they're in the goggles, the face shit, and it even said on Wikipedia that yeah, that's all covering that they wear to you know, to protect them from the elements, so to speak. And one of the things that they wrote in here is that all sand people, as part of their culture, are forbidden to remove any of their clothing with the exception of their wedding night or when they're giving birth. And I'm just like, wow, is this some sort of a backhanded racist thing that Lucas like put in there against, like, you know, people of Middle Eastern descent? You know, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
In Tunisia.
Yeah, I'm like fucking sand people wearing clothes that they're not allowed to take off in front of other people, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man, this runs deeper than I thought. Like I was just kidding when I said that's racist after sand people, but I'm like, holy fuck. That's
funny.
Yeah, so and apparently they have like almost a symbiotic relationship with the banthas of the planet, because we saw in the original movie they used them as mounts, you know, they rode them around.
Oh yeah.
Well, apparently they have a real close, like,
they ride single file to hide their numbers.
Right. Yes. But with the banthas specifically, I guess it's each raider when they come of age, like teenage years or whatever, they're paired with a specific bantha of their same gender. So what?
No, I was just looking to see if you had a book over there.
Yeah. So you know, of the two genders that are out there, male and female, if you were a male Tusken Raider, you were paired with a male bantha, and if you were a female, you were paired with a female bantha, because when you mated with someone from the opposite gender, your bantha also mated with their bantha. This is all like pulled from like books and fucking encyclopedias and all that shit.
Right.
So yeah, it's a really weird like subculture that you don't think about when you see them in the movies. All you see is like fucking, you know, and it goes a lot deeper than that. So, and I always found them fascinating. And now I really want to fucking know what they look like underneath all of that shit.
So Bronco Fett says that Jedi Asharid Het is half Tuscan.
Half Tuscan. I have no idea who this is. Is this more Legends material? So
I don't know, but it'd be worth looking up.
yeah, we'll throw it into the Google machine. So
while you're doing that,
yeah. Do you have anything on Tuscan Raiders?
I think again, being they're an integral, character in so much of the prequels and in
well, even in the original movie.
Yeah, in the original movie, because it's that pivotal moment with Luke, or with with fucking Anakin, when he goes out and fucking slaughters all those fucking Tuscan Raiders.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is probably an underrated scene, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
it helps that Christian Haydenson doesn't talk
right
throughout that whole sequence. But it's Legends. Bronco Fett says. Did you just assume the Tuscan genders?
I'm always very careful with my words. I'll just say that.
That's fucking great. Oh god, there are limits on this show. Believe it or not, we have them.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
All I see is a Tuscan Raider.
And then is that him?
Looks like a fucking. What was the GI Joe that looked like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the bald guy who had like the green kind of tank topish thing on.
I don't think he had the green tank top. I think he was just like all black, like the Cobra Commander, but looks like had that like steel head. Yeah. Anyway, Tuscan Raiders. It's definitely there is interest there. I'll tell you what, I would probably rather see a like Life and Times of the Tuscan Raider than I would rather see the fucking Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
honestly, because it'd be like, wow, this is really interesting, because it's that would be one of those things that you'd like to do as like a documentary.
Yeah,
and go out there like National Geographic style, like,
oh my god, that would be so funny.
Here we are with the Tuscan Raiders, and in their natural habitat, and they're like, they got the pig fucking things walking around and shit like that,
like pig fucking, like actually fucking pigs.
No, maybe. I mean, who could tell? We can't assume.
Yeah,
but that would be interesting, doing their like documentary style with sitting with the Tuscan Raiders and ultimately they kill you and eat you or something.
Yeah.
But the relationship that I always made with the Tuscan Raiders, especially later on in life, was of the characters in Dune. Even if you hadn't like, I don't know where I was going with that train of thought, but if you
like the worshiping water and all that,
yeah, with the water, with the raps and everything else, once you read Dune, you immediately like associated one thing with the other. Like, this is what it would look like with the still suits on, and although they represented the still suits a little bit differently, they're more like technologically advanced, but it's the same concept. You live in a place where there's no water. Of course, you're going to covet water. Of course, you're going to do whatever you can, use whatever technology you can to protect yourself from those elements.
Right.
And there's real life application to this, in the Middle East. That's why they wear what they wear. That's why they can go out and live in the high desert, with what would seem like, we need fucking, these giant snowsuits and fucking, all this protection from it. But yet there's Afghanis living 10,000 foot up in the mountains that are basically wearing, leather pelts and fucking wearing mummified shit. So pegging pigs. Yes, we are getting sex points for pegging pigs.
Yep. But yeah, it's a really fascinating race, and that's the reason why I picked them, is because there's a lot more to them that we probably don't know, that a place that they could explore. And that's really where I went with all three of mine, is like so many mysteries surrounding these races that we feel like we probably know enough about, but there's so much more that could be told. So before Dave dies, let's finish this up and go with his last race.
So my last race was, I like where you were coming from with this. I think that's a great perspective. I didn't necessarily do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, the beauty is we can have multiple parts to this discussion too, because there's a billion fucking races out there,
or species.
Both. Yes.
Also, yes. So I went with the Wookiees.
Oh, okay.
Again, it maybe have a little bit of low hanging fruit, but it's let's face it, Chewbacca is the face of the Wookiees, and I'll kill anybody that brings up the holiday special right now. I knew this going into it that the holiday special would be brought up, and I'm closing the chat because I don't even want to see it. I'm not even going to look. I'm going to go do this entire thing.
I'm still watching, so
without validating that.
Oh my god!
But so let's go with the Star Wars description. Shaggy giants from a boreal world. The tall and commanding Wookiee species is an impressive sight to even the most jaded spacer. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Despite their fearsome and savage countenance, there's some fucking 12th grade words in here. Despite their fearsome and savage countenance, Wookiees are intelligent, sophisticated, loyal, and trusting. Apparently, a Wookiee wrote this. Loyalty and bravery are near sacred tenets in the Wookiee society. When peaceful, Wookiees are tender and gentle. Their tempers, however, are short. When angered, Wookiees can fly into a berserker rage and will not stop until the object of their temper is sufficiently destroyed. That was me at fucking Royal Farms earlier.
Yeah.
I just happened to leave before I fucking destroyed that loser. Anyway, and then again, the most recognizable Wookiee to me is Chewbacca.
Of course.
I think Chewbacca and the Wookiee race in general has to be brought into any conversation where you're talking about, like, if you're talking about a species that has such a huge influence on the Star Wars universe. Chewbacca has been throughout all of this. I mean, the Wookiees live a lot longer than humans do.
Yeah, which I don't know if we knew that going into Solo, honestly. Like, I didn't think he was.
Don't say it. They talk about Wookiee age things in that movie that will not be mentioned.
Okay. Why not?
Because I don't want to.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Fuck the holiday special. It's not canon.
It had nothing to do with the holiday special.
They talk about it in the holiday special.
Okay.
Anyway. God damn it. And yet the holiday special still.
Yeah, you're the one who's brought it up twice now. Damn it. I didn't say shit about it either time. You brought it up.
I'm fucking.
We can roll that tape.
There'll be no tape wrong. No, it's just one of the most pivotal roles in our Star Wars universe as far as what the Wookiees did for Yoda, getting Yoda off of the planet that he was on before they got when they executed Order 66. He was on Kashyyyk. Yeah. So I'm sorry, my brain just is not working right now.
Yeah, it's getting late.
I'm so tired. But yeah, what the Wookiees did there, I would have loved to have seen the Wookiees be the Ewoks as what was represented originally.
Right, because that was the original intent.
Yeah, so I would have loved to have seen that because it would have fucking A, made more sense. B, just been better.
Yeah, they would have beat the shit out of the Empire.
Yeah, it would have been not even a thing. Like, we're not even waiting. We're just going to fucking take all these idiots out.
Yeah. Well, and it was like in the Star Wars, when they did help them kind of like beat the Empire, you would see these Wookiees like lifting up the fucking stormtroopers and just like breaking them over their fucking
You see it in the Solo movie. You see it in the Solo movie when they're fucking going in there.
Yeah, let someone just fucking fly right into the ground.
We're going to beat the fuck out of everything that's moving that we don't like. Dave style. That's why I relate to these furry creatures. But I mean, it's the Wookiees. Chewbacca is their ambassador, if you will, into all these things. And then in the Legends material, when we talk about like what happened to Chewbacca, the fucking, it took crashing a moon onto a planet to fucking kill him.
Yep.
And then you had Lobaka on the other side of that, who is going through Jedi training and everything else, and you go through the whole thing with that in the Legends material. So that the Wookiee race was just something that their connection with the humans, in one way or another, is just part of our Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and even more than that, in the Legends material, more than current canon, they really went into the whole life debt.
Yeah,
that Chewbacca had with Han Solo, and how it transcended from just Han Solo to all of Han's family, to Leia and all of the Solo kids, and they would really go into depth about that, like Chewbacca's dedication to that whole family because of the life debt that he had to Han Solo and everything.
Yeah, as opposed to like what happens in like the Aftermath books and everything else, where Chewbacca's off doing his own thing, separated from Han. So, and to each his own. I'm not saying that they're necessarily there's anything wrong with it. It's just not. If you follow the Legends material, it's definitely not following along the same path.
Yep.
But look, it's one of the most recognizable species in the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
the movies wouldn't be the same. You know, our Star Wars universe wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
You know, the galaxy wouldn't be the same, I guess, without the Wookiees being present. And I really like Chewbacca's representation in the Solo movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was it. Just it built on the character, it built on a relationship between him and Han, and I just I I thought if we're talking about species, we can knock the big ones off right away. With the Wookiees, and get that out of the way.
Yeah, the only problem, the only negative I guess I have about this discussion is the fact that I really felt like the Wookiees were kind of squandered in episode 3. Like, I really felt like they were sort of an afterthought. Like, they were thrown in there for kind of a big battle towards the end, but really it felt like it was insignificant.
Well, matter in Battlefront 2, the game, the good Battlefront 2, there was a whole thing with the basically the liberation of Kashyyyk.
Yeah,
where you're that depending on which side you're on, you're either with the Wookiees or you're against them.
Oh, okay.
And it was a great map because there was so much, like, you could go out into the water and there was, like, stuff to find out in the water, and the vehicles being dropped off, and if you were on the Wookiee side, you're like swinging off of things and landing on shit, and it was a great map.
Nice.
That liberation of Kashyyyk, obviously not canon, but just better representation of what I think the intent would have been if you're going to have a Wookiee race engage in a large scale battle like that. That was the visualization of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we've kind of been denied up until this point.
Yep. But again, they've made up for it in other stuff. So
sure.
And that's that. That's the end of our first racial discussion. I'm sure we will have species discussion. I'm sure we will have more as the episodes go on, because there's more species out there that are definitely worth a discussion beyond the ones that we picked, and we just kind of threw this together willy-nilly. So
yeah, and honestly, this was an easy go-to for what we needed to do for this week.
Yeah, because I was sick as shit. Dave was drowning in calculus homework, so it was a good fallback.
Fuck calculus.
Yeah, so don't know what we're doing next week. Well, not sure when we're doing the holiday special, but we will still be doing that this holiday season. Don't you worry. It'll
help get Jason into the Christmas spirit.
Yes, it will. But I can tell you it will not be the weekend of the 8th and 9th because I have to work that weekend. So it'll have to be some other time. But we'll figure that out. And we'll figure out what topic is next week. So thank you, everybody who's been listening to us and to the Sidebar Cantina Sports Podcast. Go give both shows a download. If you're only listening to us through a web browser or whatnot, please subscribe to the audio podcast. Give us those downloads. We'd really, really appreciate it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search All Things Star Wars on YouTube. And anything else?
That's it.
All right, that's it. Well,
time for me to get some sleep.
Yes, go get some sleep. And then until next time, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. Okay, now what do I click?
Just for the taste of it.